got some more weird finds to show you. I've been really doing well with finding this kind of stuff for this part of my collection. I can't wait to show you. Check it out. Hey everyone, as you know, if you know me, I collect some weird stuff as far as records and music related stuff, and the weird oddities I collect tend to have a couple of things in common, which you'll see soon. And I don't typically find this kind of stuff that I get excited about. And this last month or so, I've found a lot of this stuff either on eBay, which is very rare for me to buy on eBay, or in the wild. And I've had to do now, this is the second video in a month, or maybe even in a couple weeks, about finding this kind of stuff. So anyway, only a few things, 4 things I have to show you here. Actually, three things. So here's the first one. So as you guys may or may not know, I collect records by Marcy, otherwise known as Little Marcy, otherwise known as Marcy Tigner. And her covers are really cool. See, this is a Christian singer named Marcy Tigner. There she is. She also plays trombone, by the way. And this is her little doll, Little Marcy. And there you have it, Marcy and Little Marcy. And they put out a lot of records together over the years. There's a really interesting story about this woman and her puppet. And you can find that story on my YouTube channel. I have a whole video about Little Marcy there. So I get her stuff usually whenever I find it. If the cover's in great shape, I'll typically get it. And this is one of my favorite Little Marcy covers, and actually one of my favorite Little Marcy records because of one particular song, and that is When Mr. Satan Knocks at My Heart's Door. It's really cool. Marcy Tigner sings in a very kind of childish, falsetto, high-pitched voice. Really interesting. And look at that little stage that was built. That's so cool. So there's a bunch of, I'm such a completist with Little Marcy that there are different versions to her records. Like this one says $1.98. There might be a version with $2.98 printed there. There might be a version with no price there. There might be a version on a different label, but I collect them all. I'm a completist. Now this one, I believe, is the same as others I have in my collection, but in very great shape. I think the only difference I noticed, and this is really collector geeky, is this little, I think this is Made in USA or whatever, right there in the corner. And I don't think the other ones I have that in the corner. So anyway, that's why I would have to collect this. That's the first find I have to show you. And this, by the way, was found at an event nearby my home. It's called Trunk Fest or Trunk Show, I believe. And basically it's where a parking lot near me, a gas station parking lot, gets taken over by booths of people selling vintage clothes or whatever. It's really popular. Bands play there, and also people sell records there. And a friend of mine sold me this for $1 because he knows I collect Marcy. So there's that. Now, the second one is pretty cool. I collect another religious person records for many years. Big fan of this guy, and I've never seen this item anywhere. And this is one of the things I bought on eBay because I'd just never seen it before. I made the seller an offer, which was much lower than he was asking for it. And I think I paid about $10 for this. So look at this. I collect Merrill Womack records. And he was a gospel singer that burned his face off in a plane crash early in his career and kept making records with his face on it. And this is the Merrill Womack songbook. I've never seen this. Again, if you want to know more about Merrill Womack, you can search my YouTube channel for Merrill Womack, and you'll see a whole video on my story with him, and why I collect him, and when I talked to him in the 90s on the phone. Anyway, I've never seen this. And this spectacularly has photos of Merrill that I've never seen before, which is really unusual because I have a pretty fat Merrill collection. Look at this. Amazing. So that's after the accident. That's obviously he has some work done there. But yeah, I've never seen this. Only time I've ever seen it is the one time I just saw it on eBay and had to get it. It's in great shape. Again, photos of Merrill that I've never seen. Look at that, dude. He is contemplating things right there. Yeah, so but amazing that I believe he put out one single solitary album when his face wasn't burned. And then he got in this accident, but he kept putting out albums, and it did not stop him from using his face on most, if not all, of the covers. And yeah, I'm just so psyched to get these. Now there's him before his face was burned. Yeah, see how happy? But he was such a gangster, man. He just kept putting out records and said, guess what? I'm putting my face on everything. Look at that. That is art. Look, other Merrill Womack products. List some of his albums there. I just love this, man. He's kneeling. Look at him getting into it, man. Kneeling on the stage. What a showman. Look at that. Is that where his plane wrecked, possibly? That may be where his plane went down. Oh, sorry about the glare there, guys. Anyway, this is just really interesting to me. I'm a big fan of Merrill. He was really nice to me back in the 90s and sent me a bunch of stuff for my collection. But never knew this existed. This is pretty cool. Anyway, there, Merrill Womack. Now, I got one more thing to show you, and this was the most surprising find. I'll just put these out here so you can see them. Now, this was a surprising find. I buy a lot of gospel records and resell them. I do really well with selling gospel records. And a lot of them look like this. Very generic cover. This band name really intrigued me. The Total Victory Trio. Like, Total Victory. It sounds like one of those like Boston hardcore bands in the 80s. The Total Victory Squad or Posse or Total Victory Boys or whatever. Anyway, so I looked at this, flipping through records. I was like, oh, it's in pretty great shape. Looks like a private pressing gospel record. You know, there's the picture of the band. You know, I'm trying to figure out where they're from. It doesn't really say, whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, private pressing gospel. I'll look it up. I look up Total Victory Trio, and it seems like other people have sold this record. And I got home finally, did some more research on it, and I was like, wow, I can probably get $40 for this if it's in great shape, which it's really clean. And so I'm looking at it, and I'm looking it up on Discogs, and I'm typing up a whole description and the price and everything. And just as I'm getting ready to put it in the pile of records to go be ultrasonically cleaned and then listed online, something in the picture catches my eye. And I couldn't believe it. So if you just look close at the band, okay? I don't know if you'll notice what I noticed, but hold on, let me make this happen here. Okay, see? See what I'm looking at? Okay. That's not a human hand there. That's a metal hook hand. So I was like, that's one of the things I collect is, I don't know why, but a lot of Christian records from a certain era have a lot of people with deformities, missing limbs, other things that might make their life a little more challenging than most. And for some reason, Christian records really did well with releasing artists with those kind of afflictions. And the week before I found this record with this guy with a hook hand, I happened to stumble across this record. And I did a video about this on my last Weird Record Finds video where I found this, just like this record. I thought, okay, looks like gospel, private pressing. I'll look that up later. I put it to the side. Before I leave the store, I finally look it up. But as I'm looking it up, I noticed this. I'm like, what? I didn't even notice that when I first picked up the record. And I turn it over and, oh yeah, well, see, it's very obvious now what, something's going on there. So I bought it and I found out this guy's name is Jeff Steinberg and he's still alive as far as I know. He put out at least a few records, all the records very subtly showing his hand in some way. And then the next week I find the only band that Discogs says he was ever in, the Total Victory Trio, and that's him. And now I have to collect this, so I can't get rid of it because now I have 2 records in my Jeff Steinberg collection. And I'm looking for others. If anybody has something they want to trade, I got extra Marcy stuff to trade. I got extra Merrill Womack records to trade. And that is my weird oddities, genre, vinyl finds, etc. update. May the rock and roll gods bless you all. Talk to you later.